Hi, I'm Ben Ling and I've travelled all the way up from North Berwick to Dundee to meet my friend Drew Cunningham, also known as Mr. Droogle, and I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today, and diving into how these trusted photographers for Google can take a video tour of the inside of your business, for example in a restaurant, and users can view on Google My Business from the comfort of their own home and look at your, like for example, around your restaurant or around your hotel before they even get there. And we're going to be doing a podcast interview just answering a couple of questions of the benefits. Some of the benefits are enhances your it just adds a feature or enhances your Google My Business listing, and that also helps your click-through rate to your business listing, and also helps your search engine optimization, which boosts it higher up on the search results in Google. So let's go in and see Mr. Droogle himself. Hi Drew.
In you go.
Hi, I'm Ben Ling and welcome to Ben's Business Podcast episode number 15. Today I'm with Mr. Droogle, also known as Drew Cunningham, and Mike Child. And today I've travelled up from North Berwick up to Dundee, where we are at your studio, or whatever you want to call this place. It's a
Studio,
cool room.
office. Yeah.
I'm excited to go over what I want to talk about in terms of how we can improve our Google My Business listing with your Google Street View tours that you do. And the correct name for it is Google Certified Street View Photographer, and that helps to boost businesses' visibility online and enhance their Google business listing. Some of the benefits I know of it that I would like you to explain in more detail is that it enhances the business listing, and by doing that it enhances your search engine optimization, SEO ranking on Google. And that's why I find it interesting, because I recently done a video on how to set up a Google business listing. Then I noticed this extra feature about these virtual tours that you can go inside the business and users can view it from the comfort of their own home. So thanks for coming on the podcast, the two of you.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
First I'll ask you, Drew, what got you into doing these Google tours, and why do you enjoy it?
Well, we started the business back in 2010. I think it was 5 years ago. Google phoned up. I thought it was a scam, which was quite fun. They put me through the tests. You had to get 90% or over, and we went through the program. It was a lot of fun. It was quite scary at first to try and do all the 360 stuff and get to understand it. I had to put a lot of money as well to kind of fund it all, but it's been great seeing all the different businesses and allowing people to see inside businesses and see what people can do.
Yeah,
it's been fascinating. Yeah,
that's what I find fascinating, is that you can like when I went into a restaurant on Google before I went to the restaurant, because it looked nice inside. I decided whether I was going to visit that restaurant at that moment after visiting, going through and actually seeing it look nicer on the inside than it did on the outside.
And that's we do love the hidden gems, the ones that look kind of like not very exciting outside, and then you go inside, it's just this wonderful big place. Help show place stuff. It can be anything from like hotels to hairdressers to anything really. Gyms and all sorts.
And other thing was, what are the benefits of the Street View tours? That's probably a question for you, Mike.
Could be, thank you. The benefits really are that it shows behind the door of a business. It might allay any fears that you might have of going to somewhere. We did one, for example, about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, which was to do with the treatment of cancer. And the person there was, it really just shows what for you to expect, if you like, once you go in behind the door, off the street, and see a happy smiley face there, and waiting for somebody to introduce you to your course of treatment. We also had a person who was suffering from agoraphobia, and they, through the tour, could see what to expect when they got there. So they got on the cab, got there, and were happy to go in, whereas before they'd never actually made that step, which was very interesting. It's an angle that we never thought of. And since that, we've actually had some interest from hospitals. Again, the same principle. It's in this one, it's particularly a children's hospice, is to show people, the parents as well as the children, what to expect when they arrive. And that could be very important. It could be a scary place going to a hospital. We also did one which was to do with 9 Wells, an operating theatre there. This had two benefits. Was A, to show people what to expect when they're going to an operating theatre, but also from a training point of view. And this is where there's another aspect to Google Street View Trusted, which is you can have overlay graphics on top of it. So you can have info points, part of a tour, which could be points of interest, or it could in fact be used for advertising a manufacturer's product. In this instance, it was to show students what to expect in a theatre. So it's a very diverse benefits really as far as that's concerned. But really, it is what the main principle behind it is an advertising. It's a marketing tool for your business. But also these days, the important thing is social media. It can be attached to Facebook, for example, and also be part of your website. So it's a very flexible tool. And the major thing is that obviously as it's a Google product, it is associated to Google My Business information, but also associated to Google Maps. So the plus part of that is you can see where the business is, and then you can see behind the doors from Google Street View as well. Literally leads you from the street into the door to the business.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a great marketing tool, especially when I was working with yourself, Drew, on the tour dash when I was doing programming, and that's what the points of interest are.
Yes, you can have you can have info points. You can have hotspots within a premises. You want to let's say, for example, you've got a retail premises which is clothing. You could have a rack of clothes there, and then you could have a spot within that rack of clothes which will lead you to let's say purchase online. Or could be a link to an AV presentation by somebody to highlight what is on show there. We did one also in a garage recently, and I said, well, why not do a generic presentation, a generic tour, should I say, to show the model of the car, but with the graphical overlay. You don't have to renew the shoot every 6 to 9 months, let's say. You can just put the graphics there to show what the latest features are of a car. Whether that could be applied to anything. It could be a range of clothing, and so it's a very handy tool. The Tour Dash is great for that from my point of view.
Yeah, that's probably my favourite part about this whole Google Business Tour, when I discovered that there was actually a great marketing potential with the Tour Dash. And you're able to take them not just into view the inside of the office, but get them to a hotspot, which is they can click on, and then that brings up information, and then they can click on a buy button, like you're saying. So it actually leads them through sales, through a sales process. Yeah,
it's like virtual shopping.
Yeah.
Virtual shopping also, when you're doing a pan, when we set up the shot. Images or graphics can come out from the left, right, or top and bottom, so it enhances a tour. Yeah, that's the point really, and that can, in conjunction with a website, it's great. It's a great tool.
Pan, that's short for panoramic.
Right. Well, also pan. Yes, the actual shot being panned.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
Because you can, when you're moving the mouse. Or you can move the image through 360 degrees.
Yes.
So as you're going through the 360 degrees, it'll appear as part of a shot.
Yes. Okay. You kind of touched on it, but what are the benefits for your search engine optimization ranking and for business and sales?
Because it's a Google product, that'll only can enhance your SEO. As to, I mean, I always say to our clients, I can never guarantee that, but you're looking these days at trying to get your business onto the front page. That's the whole point when you're searching for that. So having one of these tours done, because it is linked to Google Maps, and that will only improve things. So I can't guarantee anything. We can't guarantee it will do that, but that in conjunction with your website and Facebook, it should help matters, definitely.
Yeah, because you can, like you mentioned, you can embed it onto social media, which I've seen you have done, and you can embed it onto a website, like you can embed a YouTube video onto a website and a blog post and things. So it helps for, it's an additional content, which is a good feature on a website itself. So it enhances the website, I would say. And I would say, it probably, like you're saying, you don't know because there's so many ranking factors for Google. That's just one of them, and it's probably a factor that Google include. Yeah.
There's the carousel that they've added in though. They do have a section just for 360s. So the amount of content, the more content you bring in, Google loves it. So any sort of image-based stuff, they absolutely love. So
I remember when I was learning about, at the very beginning, when I was learning about, they used to be called Google Place pages before they were renamed as Google Plus local pages. Then they were renamed again to Google My Business pages. They at the time I was learning about Google Place pages, the main important thing for getting them to rank highly on the Google Map listings was, like you said, the more information you provide on that listing, like hours and everything, the better. So if I knew that these things were around at the time, I probably would have been trying to get these Google tours added on as well, because I knew that was one of the number one things to help them rank higher up on the local listings. If someone searches like restaurants in Dundee, for using it as an example. The next question I have is, when you get a call and a client's happy to go ahead and get one of these tours done, what is the exact step-by-step process that you take? If someone called you and they asked you to set up a Google tour for them, what is the exact steps that you would take as a photographer, but also what Mike might do as well?
Normally what we do is we get first contact. I would send them to Mike, and Mike would have a chat with them. He'd normally go out to the business, have a look around the premises, discuss with the owner what sort of things they're looking for, and then do a quote based on the size and the things, the sort of ideas they're having. Because for some buildings it might only be like a portion of the building, it might be full buildings, could be outsides. So it's good to have kind of a chat and a walkthrough. Once they've done that, we'd kind of build a quote and decide from there. And that'd be a case of booking a day, and that's when we either all go out together and get the shots done. There may be the case where we have to book in models, or we have to book in like poses or people or props or signage or something else as well. So there's a little bit of planning involved. Once it's shot, which depending on the size can take from a couple hours to a full day or more, depending on what it is, I would get onto the editing side of it. And that usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks.
And once you have like your models, like what do you do with the camera when you go into, like, that's what I'm interested in, like how do you do that? Like I know it might be easier to show, but
one of the things we have to do is my part of it, if you like, is the survey. Is I have to go through and I take a selection of images as I do it, and I'm sort of plotting the course, so that when I come back I post it all on the computer, of course, these days. And I show Drew, look, this is the route, this is my concept of it. And then when we go on site, that's when the whole thing comes to life, really. But having said that, sometimes it all changes. You get there, and particularly if people are involved in posing throughout the whole shoot, which will enhance it rather than having an empty cafe, for example. It's always better to have people in it, and that adds another dimension, and it can blow my ideas out the water, which is not good. But
Len's Coffee House was one of my favourites.
Yes, so we have lots of examples of this, but it just one of those things that we did some series of laboratories the other day, and initially no posers on the day, posers. So that's something that came out of the woodwork. We weren't.
So when you were plotting it, there was no people there, but on the day that you went out with the cameras, there was people.
Yeah, students.
Did they have to stand still?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the things you don't realise when you're a model. There's a lot of hanging around and a lot of not moving. But also product placement as well is something you have to be aware of, and also data protection these days, big thing, because the resolution that Drew employs on the images is very high, and each file is composed of, we use HDR technology, if you like, or technique, should I say, and each file can be 20 megabytes plus, and lots of those together, they're edited together to create a seamless tour throughout, as you say, all or part of the building. So we don't have to do the whole building. If it was a hotel, for example, we could just do various stages of the hotel. There were techniques that we used for that. Again, this is where the overlay graphics can come into their own to help highlight areas, rather than Napier University, for example, took a long time to shoot, but it was broken up into sections, so that if you're a student going to Napier, you can just look at one area. If you're interested in audio, for example, Foley work and things like that, post-production, just go to that area. So that's what I like. That's what they've got.
And that's at Tour Dash again.
That's Tour Dash. That's the overlay graphics. Yes. Yeah. So it enhances it.
Yeah.
Likewise.
But what that means for like the users, beneficial way is that they can, when they go into the building, they can click on things and it'll take them up to a certain floor. Because I remember when I was programming it. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly that. But likewise, this is where it comes into the info points as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going through a building, you get to a section and think, oh, what's there? And there's a little info point there, and or a little graphic which says, click on me, kind of thing. It takes you to give the information about that area of the tour.
Yes. And it was interesting, the models. I remember I was looking at your old office, Drew, and you had some, I think it was Yeti
that was him.
Outfit. It wasn't myself.
Weird, that's the
Were you dressed up in that yourself?
That was her, and she was dressed as a redneck, I think. She had like fake teeth and everything.
Yeah.
But we did a clever thing through the tour, because you can do, say you've got a big space that you're wanting to shoot for 360, you can choose, if it's possible, to do it in multi-setup. And we did that for the studio. So basically, as you go through the door, you had an empty studio to see the space, and then as you kind of go to the next step, you see it getting kind of made up into studio space.
Yeah.
And then the third one was a close-up where Aaron was a redneck. It was very odd.
Yeah. It's always that one with the Yetis as well.
That was the Highlander Games. That was awesome. Yeah.
You were going into your office. It was just like going off a street view into your office, but there's in the car park. Like a Yeti peeking over the cars and inside your office as well.
Yeah, we did multiple Yetis for that one. They were all over the shop. Yeah, that was good fun.
So that's I found that creative, and that's like again another good marketing tool, because it's memorable that you go that extra mile to dress people up in a funny costume.
Oh, quite right, if I can. Yeah.
So it's, instead of just having basic people sitting in a restaurant or something, they're doing something unusual as well.
Yeah, because the Blends Coffee House one, that was an entire building filled with models.
Okay.
It was absolutely genius.
Yeah.
So to get everybody in that state, because we do the shots, we do 4 sets of 3 as we go around in a circle. We use a big studio camera instead of using one of the small stick cameras, just sheerly for quality.
Okay.
Then it's 50 megapixels per shot.
Okay.
So as you go around, it's you got huge files.
Yeah.
But because you're shooting with a fisheye lens, you're getting sort of like that sort of space. And you do 3, 3, 3, and 3.
Okay.
The person that's on the kind of corner of a shot has to make sure they're very still, otherwise they'll end up stitched with 2 faces and everything else.
So it's quite particular.
So the fact that I had this entire coffee place that was just, everybody was so still, it was really odd and kind of eerie, but they were amazing. They were so good.
Yeah.
So.
It's probably quite interesting to have a whole film of like what the process is to so for someone to see the effort that goes behind it, because I can imagine it's some effort.
The post-production aspect is takes longer than the shoot, so you need to make sure you've got 2 eyes, 2 ears, not multiples of everything.
Yes,
that's the problem really.
Yeah.
I did have to reshoot one. There was a guy, he was a waiter. I told him not to move. He took one step, just one single step to the left, and he had a perfect 2 heads. It was like this kind of like big troll thing. It was amazing. So we had to reshoot that one. It was a shame, but. Yeah, you've got to stay very, very still.
Yeah. And is there standards that Google, like if someone has two heads, does Google care about that, or are they, if you were to just bypass that, would they let you off, or is that just your standard?
There's Google Quality Control.
Yeah.
It has changed over the years as the product has changed, because it was Google Business Photos, I think, to begin with. It's changed name, was Business View, and now it's Street View Trusted. So yeah, it has changed. Before it had to go through quality control each time. Now they check it as groups of tours. So they do go over your work, but if there was a major fault, they would tell you straight away and let you know. They're quite strict about their details. So yeah.
It's quite interesting how it works. So Google have almost third parties working. You're a third party for Google now, and you use Google's brand, so obviously they have to take care of their reputation with other photographers doing it. But you seem to have quite high standards with, like, for example, we're going to come and do a tour of this room, but you're not ready yet, and you have these quite a high standard of how you want things to look. Conscientiousness is the word, I think.
Yeah, because ideally you don't want
to. Which is a good thing.
It's supposed to be representation of the building on the day, so you don't want to be photoshopping or anything like that. It's supposed to be this was how it was shot. So we try and do that as much as possible to make sure that when people view it, it is like Street View. It's the same. Because we've had customers ask for things changed and stuff, and we can't always change mats or like building parts or anything else like that.
Yeah.
So that is a good thing. So when you view the tours, you know that is what you're supposed to be going to.
So it's real life.
Yeah, there's many situations where you look at hotel photos and you see these lovely wide-angle shots that make the room look huge. This shows you exactly how it should look.
Yes.
True representation.
Fair. Yeah. Fair on the consumer as well.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a guest turning up to your hotel and saying, "This isn't what it looked like on the photograph." With images, you can fake anything. With this, we are not allowed to. What you see is what you get. So make sure your glasses are nice and clean, and the tablecloths ironed and things like that, and the windows are clean in particular. So it is a true representation, and when you appear on site, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah. What you see is what you get. So
exactly.
The other thing was just you've kind of shared some stories of like funny client situations, but have you got any more unusual requests or difficult requests from clients? I'm sure you have. Any funny stories?
There's quite a few.
One of yours, yeah.
Oh, well, we've done 170 plus tours now, over a span of 5 years. We've done weird things from having like Scaramanga when they fronted their first tour. They essentially sell like boxes and sort of knickknacks from around the world. It's really unusual stuff. They do like leather bags as well, leather satchels. But because of their name, they wanted to have posing throughout the tour based on James Bond. So they had people dressed up as Oddjob, and there was Scaramanga with a gun and everything else. So you do get weird requests. You get unusual things. They changed their mind about that later, went for a different approach. But initially, it was quite a unique one.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've tried doing
treetop tours.
I was just thinking, we tried. I think it was 5 world first we got, which was the first one I saw in Crieff Hydro. A lot of the shots they've taken of their swimming pool. There's this lovely, absolutely beautiful mosaic above the swimming pool. So as you're swimming around, you can see and look up, and it's just beautiful. But all the photographers had taken the shot from the side, so you could sort of see it, but it was like at the wrong angle.
Okay.
So we essentially dove in with the idea that we were going to shoot all the way through the swimming pool. So there was me with the camera and tripod moving really slow. It was like a total...
There's a picture up there of you on the newspaper.
We got in the press and everything else. It was a rather absurd idea, but it worked. And it worked so well that they hired us to do more tours. And that ended up as doing... there's ones on the back of quad bikes. So we mounted it on the quad bikes to do this race between 2 people. We did segways, mounted segways. And then we did the most complicated one, which was the treetop tours. So it's like the team building things through trees for zip lines and stuff. That ended up as being in a magazine as well, because we bought a special piece of equipment called a panel pole. So essentially it sends my camera up to amazing heights in the air, which was so nerve-wracking watching that. Just little cameras just kind of
expensive stuff.
Oh, and they use guy ropes to pull it to get the spirit level right, and then it rotates as well. So I did have to go around the course as well, which was also terrifying. I had to bring my camera with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the results were awesome.
Is that a quad course?
Which one?
Was that the quad?
This is the treetop one.
Oh,
so
right,
I had
yeah.
to
Was there not another one that you've done?
There was a
quads?
quad bike one as well, yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
My supervisor at Google, she liked the quad course one so much that she showed it as an example to the rest of the people in the UK.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a nice moment for us. So.
Well, you should, like, the cameras can't see that, but there's a crazy amount of PR up there, and that's like, as we, like I've mentioned, that the audience are very interested in the business lessons as well. So like a business lesson I've just thought of there is that, like, the kind of detail that you go into, I think that really matters in business, because you're just doing it because that's the kind of person you are, Drew, and I can see that. It's the conscientiousness that, like, kind of, then the papers pick up on that, and then you get positive PR for those extra wee things that you do. And that's one thing I've noticed just observing you over the years that I've been in Fife and you've been in Dundee working away on your craft, is that you tend to, you go the extra mile without effort. It's who you are. But I think people can adapt that in business as well, because a lot of people trying to cut corners. So I think that's a very important wee point I wanted to add there.
We have seen that with the way that other people shoot some of the tours. It is possible to shoot with smaller cameras, like a lot cheaper stuff. We're going the opposite way from that. We want to go quality over quantity. Because there has some people have done it a lot cheaper as well, to deliberately get sales, but they don't think about having movement in shots and doing any sort of marketing for it at all. So it is sad to see that. It is a bit annoying, but we keep pushing our quality. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So last question really is, so how much does it cost on average for a small business owner to get one of these Google tours done?
It's based on my survey. That's the quick answer to that. As far as the money side of things is concerned, it's most of our clients fall into the £400 to £1,500 bracket. Obviously, Napier University was a little bit different, bigger. Its pro rata really is that if it's a large hotel, for example, and there's a lot of time on site, then it's going to cost more money. If it's a one room retail premises, it's going to cost probably £300 to £500 as a rough guide. But we still have to adhere to Google rules, which means that we always try to start outside of a premises, go in through the front door, then show as much or as little of the rest of the premises that's required. So that again reflects on the cost. Okay. But also I always emphasize to people that on the day, that's one thing, or the photography that Drew does is one part of it, but probably 2/3 of it is the actual post-production aspect of it, because we have to then edit it all together to make the seamless tour, and then link it to, there's a technical aspect of it, which is a Google part of it, which is linking it to Google Maps, and other things which are a bit more laborious, but there's a lot.